The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. He's a member of wrestling royalty. His repertoire and skills in the ring are unmatched. He's always been loyal, trustworthy, and has a work ethic that is unparalleled. He's been bashed by his peers, by the media, and even by the fans. But he's living proof that our worst days do not define us, and neither can other people. Welcome to Rebuilding the Foundation with Teddy Hart.
Pete, why do you think Punk gets a bad rap? Like, why do you think fans think he's cranky or doesn't like the fans? Or
same dude I known since 1999. The same old Phil, man. He ain't never changed.
I mean, he loves the fans, right? He loves wrestling.
Yeah, he loves his fans.
Then why do people think he's an asshole?
You know, I don't like. I think it's probably the way he leaves.
Maybe
AEW neckbeards were all upset because he laid in at that what's it, All Out or All In at that presser, man. Yeah. I mean, he laid into everybody. It was great, man. I'm tired, I'm old, I'm hurt, and I work with children. I mean, that's me, basically. I mean, that's how I feel every night I go to work. Phil stole that from me, basically. But
he was telling the truth, though.
He was.
And he knew he was hurt, and he knew he wasn't coming back for a while, so fuck it. Might as well just tell everybody what I think.
He's definitely, I've known him so long, he's like a ride or die guy. Like, there's times when we haven't talked for like 2-3 years, then one day somebody will send me, his new number or whatever, and then we text, and it's like we never stop talking.
Yeah. Like
we just take right back off where we left.
That's wrestlers in general, though. I mean, they all kind of do that.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. Like, with the Steel Domain, like, some of the guys still don't talk to some of the other guys, so I'm kind of like the glue that kind of keeps everybody, I stay in contact with everybody. That way, everybody knows if everybody's okay or not. I'm like the mediator. The consigliere would basically be what I would be.
I love that. I've always been a fan of Punk.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget him and Cena and Money in the Bank in Chicago.
Really, some really cool shit, dude. When you get a chance, Google CM Punk, IWA, Mid-South, Ian Rotten. And there's like a video of him cutting promos literally for 10 minutes. Some of the greatest shit you have ever heard, where he is just devouring women on there that are in the crowd, guys that are in the crowd. I mean, it's just unbelievable heel, top-level promos. And this is 2001, 2002. So check it out if you can. It's on YouTube.
I definitely will. And, it was funny when he came back and did that Fox deal for the backstage thing. And
yeah, I didn't really watch much of it. And I didn't really hear much, about like what it was like. We never really talked about it.
I mean, he had a limited amount of appearances, but I mean, he was there to critique Raw and SmackDown and give his opinion and speak to guests and all that. And I thought he came across well, but it's like seeing him come back on the show, and even though it's not technically a WWE show, they're producing it for Fox. So, I mean,
right.
People were losing their minds at thinking he's going to come back to WWE and all that, and he ends up going to AEW, and then we know what happened from there. But do you think, and, look, we all know wrestling, like, if you can make money with somebody, they're going to fucking do it. Like,
right.
Very few people were blacklisted.
Right.
Do you think Punk could ever come back and just have a good 1 or 2 year run and limited dates like Brock and just fucking go out in a good way?
I think so. I really do. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back to AEW. I don't believe that that's all over and done with. Sometimes the boys like to work the boys. I don't, sometimes I don't know what to believe or what not to believe. I'll be honest with you. That's how I was raised. So, I mean,
Sure.
And there was I had heard that they were trying to secure that a deal had been in the works for Punk to come back, and that Tony Khan was trying to secure the United Center to hold All In, or whatever. The one coming up in September that they moved to Wembley Stadium.
Yeah,
not
All In.
Because the deal with Punk allegedly fell through.
Can he put the heat with him and Triple H behind him?
I think so. Cody did.
Cody did, but I think obviously situations were a little bit different there. I mean, given the way that Punk was treated by Hunter.
Right. I mean, but anything's possible. But I mean, I wouldn't say no now, especially since they're owned by UFC. You know, they've merged with UFC, and
Good point.
he does announcing for that one of the smaller companies that UFC broadcasts on their show on their network. You know, he does a bunch of their shows. He's actually a pretty good commentator. Actually,
He is. He is.
He should. Too bad they don't move him up to UFC. Maybe that'll be the next thing. You never know.
You know, maybe Dana can help, extend an olive branch and kind of get them in the room together. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Wrestling is fucked. I mean, you never know what's going to happen anyway. But
No, that's just it.
I'd love to see him get a main event at WrestleMania and just fucking go out the way he wanted.
Oh, I would love to too. I think he deserves it, man. He was, he had a great run.
He did.
Incredible run.
He did. Teddy, you never got in a ring with him, right?
No, we're supposed to wrestle in Buffalo once, and I fucking sprained my ankle doing a backflip off a bar a couple nights before. I hit it all the time, but I was in sandals, and fucking someone spilled a drink on the floor first, like maybe 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, and they cleaned it up. And I thought I didn't even really notice it, but I subconsciously probably noticed there was a guy mopping that area. But fucking, 10 minutes later, you're in the heat of passion. So I fucking did a backflip and landed perfectly, but just the way I landed, I fucking bruised my heel really badly. And it probably was like a fucking off the bar standing, so it must have been probably 10 feet, maybe 8 feet, something like that. I landed on the heel and bruised it, and I never had the match with him in Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember you doing a bunch of those bar wrestling gigs. Were you a fan of that stuff?
More of I'm a fan of a payday, at relevance and purpose. So those things are.
What a worker! I love it. I love it.
Well, I mean, fuck, you wrestled in the guy's house for Christ's sakes. I rewatched the match with you and Too Tough Tony from JCW. Bring the House Down, man. That was a fucking killer.
I gotta see that. I've been wanting to see that.
I'll email it to you. I have it on my Google Drive. I'll send you.
How did you find it, Rob? What's your opinion? How did you find the match?
The other one I never saw was the Ring of Honor one with the
platform on top of the cage.
Yeah, that.
I have that too. I'll send it to you.
Please see those two. I've been dying to watch both those.
Teddy, to answer your question, I love that match with and Tony was fucking great. I mean, I think Tony
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the boys respect Tony. Like he's really, really good. But what popped me the most is the fucking Juggalos commentary. Like I love the fucking ICP. I've always been a fan of their music. I've followed them for many, many years. But their commentary was fucking great. They really put both of those guys over, and seeing Teddy doing fucking standing moonsaults on a bed, in a fucking dresser or whatever, like
So wrestling in the guy's house.
In a guy's house, yeah. And I think they said it was Violent J's house, but I don't know if it really was or not.
Please send me these things. Oh man,
I will. And the only two things that whoever was filming it kind of fucked up is Teddy had hurt his ankle and he lifted up his pant leg and you saw his fucking ankle monitor. And they didn't sell it, thank God.
Worked with a lot of guys that wore ankle monitors.
Yes. And then there's another part where you saw Teddy gigging on camera. So
was John Moxley?
Yeah, it was Moxley on camera.
He had his attack. So he turned it on. Look up.
I'll send it to you when we get off of here. You can watch it whenever you want. But yeah, it's that was the most unique wrestling match I've ever seen. I've seen some crazy fucking shit. But I never asked you, Teddy, like and we're gonna do a watch along with that at some point. But just to get your initial thoughts of that match, Teddy, like what did you think? Number one, going into it when they proposed it to you, and number two, how did you feel it came out?
It was just a blessing to be able to travel during COVID and obviously probation and an ankle monitor.
Yeah, it was 2020.
And to meet, I've met them a few times, but they were running the Juggalo convention and the gathering, and they had their own stuff going on full time type of that's their big week or whatever weekend. So I'm getting to see them at their own house and getting to hear them talk on the mic, and that was very complimentary to me and what they knew about me and my street credibility and the fact that I was their champion. And those guys treated me like family and gave me a bunch of extra money too for working a certain style. He said, "I was so happy with everything you did, and you made it look so realistic." He goes, "Your punches were so fucking crazy."
Yeah.
He goes, "I thought you were fucking hitting you. I don't know how the hell you're hitting him and not touching him, or hitting him and touching him and without hurting him and making a sound." He's like, "It was fucking beautiful." He's like, "I'm looking at Tony's face. There's not a scratch on him." He's like, so, and that was such a nice compliment because those guys are shooters, smart guys. You know, they've been in fucking real fights, they've been in bar fights, and they've been in the ring too. So they have an understanding of all levels of excellent artwork. When wrestling's done right, it's art. And I got that compliment from those guys. That was a big thing for me. And being invited into their house as the champion and the top guy, kind of, and having them, you know, just I get to talk for maybe 20 minutes with him about what he knew about wrestling and what he had done and all the guys he'd met in music. And the guys are absolutely phenomenal fucking geniuses for creating a niche market and making money and being nice to people that were still involved in wrestling because they were involved in wrestling at an earlier stage in their career, and they always made it kind of cool, and they took pride in being wrestlers instead of it making it seem like it wasn't something that was important or it was something that was lower level. When that's sometimes the way people try to make wrestling out to be. With it, like if you really think about the guys that have been involved in wrestling over the years, usually if you get the touch from wrestling, you blow up huge, or we bring you in and you're already a huge star, and it definitely enhances your worldwide credibility and could be financial reward for another 20 years because you were involved in WWE or you were involved in AEW or you did a crossover with professional wrestling in some capacity, back in the day with TNA or something or AAA, bring movie stars on their shit. But there's, like I say, ways that wrestling, if it's presented right and the right guys make it feel like it's a big deal, then you look at the crossover and that's so cool to be have that potential now.
Yeah.
Teddy, have you put a feeler out to anybody in Impact Wrestling?
No, I don't have. I would. My thing is just there's a time and place, and I think the world at a certain time and place will look at me and my struggle and my truth, my story, and have it laid out, and I'll have a different day in court in the public court of opinion, and I'll have my lawyer and my evidence ready to go. Then I think after that, if it gets the right publicity and the right views and the right awareness and it's interpreted right, which I think is our job as editors and producers and directors of this thing, that's going to then restart my potential booking abilities, and that'll motivate me to then explore asking potentially for that one favor or that one match, or to bring in guys and put on a show where it's like a joint promotion type of thing, where maybe in a fantasy world right now, MLW would do a show in Calgary with Harry Smith and Bret Hart and Dallas, and they get that first show underway and it goes successful, and maybe that becomes a once a year type of thing where they do the Opera Cup in Calgary at the Pavilion, and a year from now, who knows what kind of shape I'm in and what I'm doing in the documentary and the potential travels for international distribution and international scenery or international locations. So this thing's got a really unique feel to it because this is not just for America. Like I say, this is an international documentary about traveling the world and what wrestling allowed me to do and all the people I've met and the blessing of being accountable and being a nice guy and struggling to eat shit and take your bumps and take your lumps. And then when it's time to get up, you fucking make something of this opportunity called life and fucking make the struggle worth it and make the movie worth watching. When you look in the mirror, you're watching a movie of your life with your friends, and that's fucking an unbelievable blessing that God gave you. If you're in that position where me and Pete are in that position right now to go fucking have a beautiful meal and look at some beautiful women, and I have my best friend Brenda with me, who assaulted the earth and the sweetest angel and drove all the way down here in 18 fucking hours in a car, which was so packed. My Maserati was just so packed with shit. I could barely fit anything in there. Like even like a bag was and brought everything down to my sister's place. And we've been moving everything out of storage units and getting the couch set up, the TV set up, and how nice it is to have a friend and to have you guys, being here and saying, like I say, we're just building us baby steps at the time and putting training wheels on a podcast that turns into a message and turns into a preaching about certain moral code standards that I believe in are characteristics of a successful man, woman, or child. You have responsibilities and you have a way of conducting yourself. And if you handle these things appropriately, then I think it makes it a much more smooth experience, striving to reach your goals and your dreams and your aspirations become true. And then you can consistently reward yourself with all the hard work. And that to me is the secret of getting around the right people. And that's what rebuilding the foundation is about. So thank you to Pete and thank you to Rob for helping me rebuild my foundation, because you're only as good as your friends, guys, really. And that's a place that I've been with lack of social media and lack of Facebook and lack of just computer skills. I've lost a lot of friends because I don't know how to communicate with people properly, and the phones have been a real blessing for me for some things and an absolute fucking curse because I never knew how to use the cloud. So,
well, we're here to help you, Teddy, and we're happy to help and be a part of this. And I know,
we wish you nothing but the best, man, and a lot of success in the future, no doubt. We can only go up from here.
It's fucking A, right? I mean, can't get much worse than what's already happened. So,
yeah,
on to bigger and better things. And I've said before, Teddy, I'm blessed to somehow stumble into this and be a part of it, and kind of see the transformation of your reputation, and to help be a part of that. And that's a big deal. Not a lot of people get second, third, fourth chances, and you're lucky enough or blessed enough to be put in a situation to where you have the truth on your side. And
I just ask for the truth. Exactly. I just ask for that choice to be something that's presented on both sides, instead of just one side burying a guy really and hurting my image and my future and my credibility with all my fans and future fans and people in general that have access to a computer, can look stuff up that very damaging. And the disappointment of, if it's happened and I did it and there was real evidence or real truth that a court said yes, guilty, and I did the time for that shit that they said, that then fine, I'm a monster and a piece of shit, but that never happened. And the stuff that happened is so far-fetched or convoluted or exaggerated or taken completely out of context that again, it pissed me off to the point where now I'm doing something about it in a few different ways. And that's going to be another journey and process, and see if that was how God's plan was that sometimes you kick a person in the face and it's the wrong person to kick in the face, and then you should have known better. And Teddy Hart's been a fucking beast for 24 years with a lot of really unfortunate situations that happened to me, my family, deaths around me, deaths of my heroes and my brothers, and fucking real soldiers that were the guys that were going to give you all of the experience and the backbone of the family and the reward of all of the work Stu Hart did. My grandfather basically all flushed on the toilet temporarily, and to see if you can get it back. With Tyson Kidd just doing what he did by being the fucking workhorse and the machine and the fucking Switzerland of everything, where he was just neutral and smart and efficient and fucking on point all the time. And the guy just doesn't make fucking mistakes. And he's tough as fucking nails, and Maddie's tough as nails. And WWE put him in a situation where if they run fast enough, they will get the ball. And they did, and they got the ball, and they kept the ball, and they didn't fucking fumble it. And that's a huge testament to the type of people they are and how their parents raised them. And my grandfather obviously was like Tyson Kidd's grandfather. Tyson Kidd grew up with us and spent most of his life as a Hart grandkid. So it's nice that he's with my cousin. That made it extra cool, but he was in the family either way. So just that whole thing about her watching a relationship grow and how they're such role models for me and anyone else out there, that just, this is about loyalty and trust and fucking having, what a beautiful life they've had together, and all the traveling they've got to do together. And then when they're apart, how versatile they are and how efficient they are. And that's something, just knowing they exist out there, and that I had a small part in putting them on the right path, that they met each other and that they were so successful, and that I've always believed that it's a power couple, and that someday, some way, somehow, there'll be a day where I'm able to get a message to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and I'm able to get a message to Vince McMahon or Stephanie or Shane, and a thank you, and I would like to do some business if this all makes sense. And I have an idea, a fantasy and a dream of what would make sense, a one-time match or a three type of 3-time appearance if it was worth it for everybody involved. And I was in the, type of shape where I could say, listen, I'm in world-class shape. No one's ever seen me freely get to just train for a fucking year like a rape date and just go nuts with guys like Pete that are masters of showing a younger guy like me, here's the tricks and here's what to do and here's not to fucking, don't lift too heavy with this and don't squat too much with that. And this is how we have, these are all the new supplements out there that we have access to, and fucking let's go eat some beautiful meals and enjoy Florida, guys. It's fucking way better than a jail cell, and it's way better than fucking having to beat the shit out of somebody collecting money.
Right. 100%. Agreed. I agree.
If any promoter was smart, Teddy, they honestly would have used the documentary to book you. Good, bad, or indifferent, and with your name out there, people are going to tune in. People are going to watch. People are going to see what the fucking train wreck that they think Teddy Hart is.
Controversy.
I thought a couple people would have the nuts to do it, but people are so scared now, and the cancel culture is so bad, and people in wrestling are so gullible and gutless. They're cowards now. It's really sad. They're cowards. They're so worried about the few social media things that are said that are just, a few haters and bots. And
Pete, what were you gonna say, Pete?
It's a different generation, and it's a different type of people now. It's not the same.
True. But I mean, even Vince, can make money with anybody.
Inspector Clouseau?
You love that mustache, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
I'm gonna say more like Clark Gable, but
yeah, Clark Gable. He's pulled back. He's tan. The hair's dyed.
Clark Gable, Chad Gable's grandfather.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
As we wrap it up here, and obviously, Pete, you're going to make multiple appearances on this show. This is just kind of a introduction to you.
Unless Teddy kicks me off, I don't.
Well, yeah, I don't think that'll happen. He's not dumb enough to do that. I mean, you're a big guy.
Better watch out. I'm a heat magnet.
That's right. I've heard. I've heard. But any final thoughts here, Pete, as we wrap it up? And I've asked you this before when we tried to record previously. If you had to kind of describe Teddy in a few words or a sentence, what would that be?
Honestly, like a real life teddy bear. That's one sentence I would say. Probably the other one is always a friend. If you ever need him, call. And it was always like that with me and him. If he needed something, he called me. He knows I'm going to answer. If I needed something, I call him. I know Teddy's going to answer. He ain't going to let. It could be, dude. It could be 6 a.m, and we answer each other's calls. That's just the way things are with us. And
it's funny that you say that.
Just a bizarre friendship. It's more like a brothership, honestly. Right.
And honestly, from everybody that I've asked, that you all pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah.
And I know you probably didn't listen to our first episode, but literally, I opened with the fact that some people think he's an asshole, but I think he's a big teddy bear, and that's literally what everybody says about him. And that's he's one of the nicest guys ever, and he's been typecast as a villain, which is fine. Hell, fucking heels make money, right? Just put the heat on Teddy, and he'll fucking make money for you. But I think Teddy, in the back of his mind, wants to go out a babyface, right, Teddy?
Yeah, it seems like it.
More than anything, I want to go out as the truth, and that is the interpretation of someone's opinion.
Yeah.
So down the road with the right, we'll say the right angles and the right footage and the right evidence, you'll have your day, or I'll have my day to present a reason why people should change their opinion, or why people should have an opinion now that we'll call informed. Having a well-informed opinion with the right evidence and facts and video footage then creates a certain type of guilty or not guilty verdict, which I hope the guilty verdict of, let's just say guilty by saying so many stupid things and using keywords like rape, and fucking making me look like a fucking monster without absolutely any ability to defend what I'm saying. And that's the shitty thing about the way you edit something. If you really hate the guy's guts that much, that's fine. But there's a difference of hate, and there's a difference of jealousy, and there's also a difference of Fred thinking he's an opportunistic type of guy, where maybe the WWE is going to make me look really, really shitty And then if I want to do business or motivates me, maybe we can do a second one or a third one where I change my life. But I'm like, that's not how I personally thought it should have been done. And if you told me it was going to be presented like that, I would have been fine maybe doing something with it, but I probably would have opted out. It was completely a lie, and everything they told me was based on setting me up to look like a piece of shit. Which I didn't understand, wasting that much of my time to film everything when they already had what they had, and they paid me the measly $15,000 or $10,000 they gave me, and they had my footage for the year. But I have all of that footage plus all of the hard drives, minus the stuff that they filmed the last time I saw the NBC guys. But everything else I have access to, or if they have the footage, they're being sued for it by the original producer of my show, which is Kurt Stenerak, who's working in Canada now with Derek Starlight, who just did a show, a puppet show, and a new reality show, I think, for Native people on the Aboriginal Peoples Network. I believe it's going to be on, I think, with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, wow.
And Bret's running Calgary now, a real nice promotion with his son Dallas. And Dallas has got a strong history with the Native community, with his mother being one of the coolest people you'll ever meet, and very heavily connected with the high level Native community in Canada. So that's a powerful group of people to have on your team, especially, like I say, with future, is what we're talking about here, is the kids. And my thing is making sure the kids see that you got to fight for your dreams. You got to fight for your life. You got to stay committed. And that there's ways of motivating people. For me, going to schools and talking to kids and going to places, proving that my theory of how to get up and do something is tried, tested, and true, because I've been put through absolute fucking hell. And most guys would have jumped off a bridge and shot themselves in the head. But I also think that made it such an interesting story, and that I was enlightened enough to know that this story was something that people are going to be able to watch someday, a long-term video of my life and a history of everything I've been through. And that the key to this whole thing is the point of living for me was to be good to people, and I'm happy that I was given the opportunity to be a wrestler. What a wonderful job. And you see all of the jobs out there and all of the crazy shit people have to do to feed their family and survive and have a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, find a purpose. And if the purpose is a shit, meaningless type of purpose, to still find a purpose, to not fucking, to just go off the deep end. Like, it's so much harder, like, than you realize. And the technology makes certain things easier, but other things fucking even worse. And so it's a real tough time on the planet, and the tough get tougher, and the rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. I'm hoping there's a way to bridge the gap and create a movement of really good people that are maybe informed to jump the levels by getting the right role models and the right information. To me, that's the first thing you do, is you pick a co-captain, or you pick a lieutenant. And I picked Pete as my lieutenant, Rob, because he's accountable and he's going to hold me accountable. And when we were fucking really depressed, both of us had had some stuff happen, and had some losses, some serious losses to people we loved, and some depression, just because we're lone wolves. We're just like that. And we're not the kind of guys that express our feelings too much. I don't cry about spilt milk much ever. I don't remember being emotional, 3 or 4 times in the last 25 years. If I've had any tears in my eyes, it was probably a tear of joy because I saw a fucking animal run by, or something crazy. I'm touched by unique types of things, and I've been to so many funerals, and I've seen so many deaths, and I've seen so many ups and downs, and potentially almost there and right at the top, you have your dreams ripped away from you, your aspirations. You wonder, how the hell this could happen continually. And I'm like, well, at the same time, it's made that diamond so valuable to me, of the pressure that created that diamond, which is what I'm here right now to show you guys the shine. I just need the right partner to put to put me on a ring. Pete's the ring, I'm the diamond, and that's how you make the combination together. Right? Pete's the metal that holds me together right now, and his vouching for me to a lot of people. You guys have no fucking clue who are really out there, and this is a real world. This is a fucking journey, not about just wrestling. This is about meeting and powerful people, and that are completely unaware of the Teddy Hart bullshit in wrestling game. It's all about the guy in the street who you met and spent time with, and that's who Pete is, and that's who I am. We're from the street, guys. Yeah. And you don't realize that, like I say, the street has a certain loyalty and respect, and don't fuck with the street, because the street's fucking with Teddy Hart still.
Hey.
I can't say any better than that. I mean, I had some things to follow up on, but
we're always going over the street. That's a fact.
That's true. That's true.
We're going over.
Pete, thanks for being here, brother. I totally appreciate your.
I appreciate the invite. Or they're willing to come back on again anytime. Just let me know.
Pete, I'll see you down there around maybe 11.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give you a call in about 10 minutes. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rob. All the viewers out there, thanks, guys, for your patience and listening.
Guys.
I hope I'm able to take a few hours out of your day and put a smile on your face and entertain you and occupy your time.
Thanks,
All right, guys.
for everything.
You got it, man. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. See you, Pete.
Hats off to Rey Mysterio Jr. and Conan too for the wonderful, unbelievable career that's still going. But Conan getting his day too to celebrate his best friend, and without Conan there would have been no Rey Mysterio Jr., which is would have absolutely fucking destroyed wrestling. He was one of the guys that really, really changed wrestling for the better for all the guys that are smaller guys, and to make the fans to get that taste of that innovation of all the different things he did as a magician. One of the best guys ever, and one of the reasons I'm a wrestler is because of Rey Mysterio Jr. So I know that's the same thing for Tyson Kidd and probably so many other guys out there. Thank you, Ray, for your sacrifice, and thank you for your innovation, and your measuring stick, and your level of excellence and execution. It's fucking, unfathomable what you've done and how tough you are. And thank you, Conan, too, for giving me my first real big job in Mexico and teaching me, like I say, what guys to watch and what to do, how to do it, and how to be efficient and safe and to have longevity. And those are all really valuable lessons that Conan instilled in me and Jack. And you can see, like I say, years later, we're still walking around without any knee braces or without a cane or any links, and very, very healthy and absolutely fucking blessed by God, and good information and good coaching, good sound coaching.
And that was huge for Conan to actually get to do that, because he wasn't always on the best terms with WWE. So I'm glad he got the opportunity to share that moment with Ray and to put him over.
Yeah, that was really cool. Well, guys, you have a wonderful night. Love you guys. And thanks, Pete. I'll see you soon.
Take care. I'll talk to you later, Teddy.
Thanks, Rob.
You got it, buddy. All right, guys, that wraps up for another edition of Rebuilding the Foundation with Teddy Hart. Technical difficulties be damned. We're going to get it straight now that Teddy is back in Tampa. He's got his own place now. His Wi-Fi will be getting put in soon. So he was working off a shitty hotspot tonight. And it is what it is. This is like the fourth try, honestly, at doing this show. So thanks to Pete as well for his patience and his time for putting up with this, because we literally just have started and stopped. We weren't able to put out an episode this past Saturday as we normally do on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But it was good to have Pete here, and it's good to have Teddy here. And I love talking to them. I love hearing their stories. And there's so much more we're going to get into with Pete and all of Teddy's friends, the ones we've already had on and the ones that are still yet to come. And the best is yet to come. And I know that's cliche, but truly this show will get better. Like Teddy said, it's a podcast on training wheels. And I'm embarrassed personally for shitty video and shitty audio. Even if it's not my fault, it's still my name on this product as well as Teddy's. And we're just not happy with that. So Teddy has a very loyal fan base and a large list of haters, but haters are always going to hate. Most of them are jealous. That's probably Teddy texting me right now. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. In any event, guys, we appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Rebuilding the Foundation with Teddy Hart. To keep up with the latest happenings with Teddy, follow him on Instagram at official Teddy Hart. You can also email us at rebuildingthepodcast@gmail.com. Join us next time for Rebuilding the Foundation with Teddy Hart, right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.